Get ready with me while I make some signs. What we're painting today are just some of these, you see? I use these for signs. You can get them to cut them down for you at the building store. I have a book full of recipes, my color recipes for these, because it is so easy to forget what you do after a long period of time. So just hang with me. Now, I didn't have everything ready like I thought I did, so I did kind of paint the sides of these, but they're still kind of see-through, so I'm just going to put my background color on, which is usually white. Sorry, I keep taking it away from the camera. And I know you kind of want to see the process. And we can fast forward through a lot of this stuff, or you can, you know, switch the speed on YouTube, which it's what I do all the time so I can learn the most. I speed up everything. So, again, away from the camera, but I am trying. Yeah, this is taking longer than normal because I'm trying not to rip up this sponge brush, you know. These things are not that great. They're probably of the that store where things are more than $1, and I think that's where these are from. You know, just basically a one-time use, but because I try and make my things last longer, I will use them as many times as I can. This is its second use, so like I said, I'm being very careful not to, you know, rip it up. And this is my last one, so I mean, I'm still gonna be careful, but now I really don't have to worry because, you know, I have more of these. I just didn't want to have to find a fresh one. You know, you have everything organized and then you forget where it is. Everybody do that? Anybody do that, especially with Christmas gifts? You know, you buy them and it's such a great gift, and then, well, you got to put them somewhere, right? And you put them somewhere where you know that you're not going to lose them. And it gets to Christmas time and you actually forget about them, and then maybe in May you'll figure out that, hey, I did have a gift for so-and-so, and doggone it, she didn't get it because I put it in such a good hiding spot that I can't find it. Yeah, that's about right. Now, I have mixed my colors. My colors I put on this is just a little plexiglass thing that actually my parents had when I was growing up. It was actually our cutting board. Probably not the most healthy thing in the world, but hey, it did the job. So this is how I do these signs. You know, this guy wanted purple, and purple he'll get, but the very beginnings I have to blend it like this. I like to, you know, it's not an ombre, it's not quite a stripe. I like to call it like a dream of things. And I gotta put some, you know, more purple down in here. You just do it to where you like it. Now I did wet this sponge. It is, again, a sponge from a very discounted place. And I make sure that that little lip down there is covered too. Yeah, that was a trial and error thing as well. But, so I like that. Now, what I'm putting on here will be white lettering. So I do try and keep the white down to a minimum, but I like that washed look. So you just keep, you know, blending it a little bit. This is my personal technique. It's my favorite one. And that is sign number 1. Beautiful colors. You know, you can find these colors at Walmart. But I like to mix them because I like rich colors, and yeah. So then I usually take the excess glue in that corner there. Now, like I said, this board is from the wall. What do they call those things? Yeah, I have to think about it. I'm having a brain sigh. Yeah. Now, when you do that, you don't want to do it, let it sit too long when you dab it like that, because I've noticed that even in the end product, you can still see where you dab that. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I'm so hot today. I don't know what's going on outside. You know, it was cold at the beginning of the week. Well, what day is it? It's Tuesday. It has been chilly here. I'm not going to say cold. I'm from the north originally, and it ain't cold here. So I'm kind of hot right now. So this is the second one. Let's see how it is. Now this one is called Purple Haze. This color sign is my Purple Haze. You know, I'm still trying to think of the name of these boards, and it's right there on the tip of my tongue, but I can't. I know y'all are screaming it at me through the screen, but hey, this is life, you know. I did. Okay, let's get this on here. Come back. Sometimes I have painted boards that turn out so beautiful. I just cannot sell them, like the paint on them. And I haven't put anything else on them. I just painted them. They're for me. You know, I don't know if anybody else is an artist out there, but when you're an artist, you usually don't have too much of your stuff because you've sold it or given it away. Or am I just the only one here? I've given so much away that now I just try and take pictures of everything. And this one will have more white in it. My paint's starting to clump. You know you're an artist when. And this is my third one. It doesn't take too much time. I mean, you can take your time. I'm not saying to not take your time. Do try and keep the back as clean as possible, because I do put some stuff on the back, and I'll show you that later. And yes, I'm going to want to do the tops and the bottoms of these because I haven't. See, like I said, it's been a year and a half, so I just take that excess, run it over these lips, because I think that, you know, for the finished product, if you're hanging this somewhere, you're going to be seeing the bottom, you know. So let's make that look good. And the same with the top here. Yeah, I just put that right on my desk. It'll work out. Trust the process. Some of this will be covered and, you know, it won't matter. All right, so now that end's just done. This edge is done. Only 3 more to do that too, because I forgot. It's funny how much you forget in a year and a half. And I made a couple hundred of these things just for that one man. He's given out so many of these things, and he pays decent for them. I try not to, you know, gouge people, but, you know, you got to get paid for your time, and you've got to learn not to be worried about talking about money. If you're an artist, you need to be paid. Now, just because I need to make a living doesn't mean that I need to make a killing, you know? I just want to be happy and be able to afford things when they break to get fixed, and things to eat when I'm hungry. And yes, I know I'm overweight, but that has nothing to do with it. It's just a different process. I think I'm just going to dab these sides because I'm not liking the white. That way it'll blend more. See, it's a lot better that way. And then by the time I get to this last sign, I'll remember everything about it and be, you know, ready to make more. However, I am all out of whatever this is called. not slats. Shiplap. There it is, shiplap. So this is shiplap. And for those of you that don't know what shiplap is, you can stack it on the wall with these grooves, and it interlocks. You still have to nail it in with, you know, a nail gun. Then you got to putty over the nails and paint it if you're going to be precise and, you know, professional about it. If not, just slap it together and look at the nails. You know, it's up to you. You don't have to follow the world's norm. If it's okay with you, let it go. You know, we can't be afraid to do things, and we are. We're afraid to start that thing. We're afraid to make a mistake, and we're afraid to, you know, spend our money unwisely, which right now is, I understand not wanting to do that, and I'm not saying go out and be frivolous. I'm just saying, you know, hey, take every chance you have to try something new, and never ever stop learning. I try and learn something every day. Not something on or around the same subject or anything. Nothing like that. But, you know, hey, if I learn, you know, a little bit of herbalism, which I'm very interested in. I started being interested in that during COVID, and I've kept up my studies on herbalism. And I have made a lot of tinctures and a lot of salves and stuff like that. So I try and learn that. But that's not the only thing. You know, I'm interested in everything. I love science. I want to know the science of things, you know. Just show me the science. Okay. See how quick that was? That was 4 signs and 15 minutes just to paint. Now, I am going to put words on these signs, and right now I can't. It is drying, and these paints, sorry about the noise, these paints take, I like to give them a full 24-hour cure, because if you don't and you try and put some vinyl, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some vinyl on them. If you try and put some vinyl on it before that 24-hour mark, and you go and you put the contact paper over the whole sign and you go to take it off, it'll take the paint with it. So you do need a 24-hour at least cure for it to, you know, really get in there, really get dry. It will be dry, you know, I don't know, 15 minutes. But I have noticed that if you rush the process, in the end, it's going to be ugly. So I'm going to show you what the finished process looks like. So give me a sec. I'll wheel over to this one. Pull it back. This is the finished process. This is the original love letter sign. This sign has been a bestseller of mine for several years. And the vinyl is, you know, the XXOO. And the wording. The painting is all me. And then on the back there's some, you know, I've signed it and I've given a card and I tell you what color it is. This is my sunset. This is what I call sunset. So that's that. Now, when I first started making these, I made them white with black letters. And that was great too. And I'm sure you've all seen the love letter thing at some point in time. It's a beautiful message. Kudos to whoever came up with it. I did not. If I did, I could probably be doing crafts all day and having a boatload of fun doing it. But wasn't me. And the person I got this pattern here from was on Etsy, but I can't find them anymore. So I can't even give the accolades or the credit to whoever did that pattern that I use in vinyl. So that's all for today. We'll come back and we'll finish the signs together. I'm going to cut out the vinyl a while. I'll show you bits and pieces of that, and we'll piece the whole thing together. See you later, alligator. Never stop learning.